Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. They come on your phone, on your computer, and even in the mail. Scammers are working 24/7 to rip us off. And the best defense against scams is knowledge and information. So today we're calling on Vermont's top law enforcement officer to explain the top scams in the state and how you can avoid them. It's a pleasure to welcome Attorney General Charity Clark. Welcome so much, Charity, to Across the Fence.
Thanks for having me.
So last month you released the top scams in the state during 2022. We'll go into some of those in detail in just a minute. But first, share with us, what are the key indicators that something is a scam?
Well, what I always like to point out is that the best tool scammers have is to spike your emotional response. So when there's a sense of urgency and there's emotion combined, whether that's, fear, concern, worry, or even excitement, these should tip you off that something might be amiss. And if someone is trying to separate you from your money, combined with the sense of urgency and the emotion, that right away should be red flag.
Absolutely. And yeah, there's this real pressure to act immediately, and you
Yes.
just don't want to go there. So there were 3,685 reports of scams on your consumer assistance program during the past year. And hundreds of thousands of dollars were lost to scammers, but because people often don't report that they're being scammed, is it fair to say that the numbers are a lot higher? I mean, I feel I get scam calls all the time, and I don't call your office every time. I just hang up. So I imagine the costs are more, the numbers are higher.
Oh, definitely. And we know for some people there's a sense of shame when they lose money to a
Mm.
scammer, and so they're hesitant or reluctant to call. We always encourage people to pick up the phone and call the Consumer Assistance Program, which is a partnership between UVM and the Attorney General's office. To first of all, even if you haven't been scammed, just to make that scam report so that you can spread the word. But also, there are some resources we can provide, whether it be identity theft information and protection. And if you call within, immediately, there is a chance that there are methods on getting the money back, depending on how you transfer money to the scammer.
Oh, that's good to know. So,
Yeah.
and importantly, reports of scams in Vermont have dropped significantly in the past 2 years.
Yes.
There were 1,500 fewer scam reports in 2022 than the year before. Do we know why the numbers have dropped?
Well, we have a few theories. One is that the protocols nationally for robocalls have changed. Legislation was put in place and new protocols were put in place that mean fewer robocall scams are coming into Vermont and across the nation. Also, our office has the robocall team, which looks to identify those telephone carriers that are carrying scam robocalls into this country and into Vermont. And once we identify them, we can take action to get them to stop doing that. And the way that we know that they are taking or receiving scam robocalls into Vermont is Vermonters make a phone call to the Consumer Assistance Program and make that scam report. And then we can do what's called a trace back to trace the call back to the telephone carrier in this country who received that scam robocall and brought it to Vermont.
So you can actually prosecute now, and
Yeah,
or at
we
least
and
identify better.
yes, yes, we have. Already have the robocall team has been in place a couple of years. We already have brought actions against telephone carriers who are bringing scam robocalls into Vermont.
That's terrific. So the decline is significant and certainly a welcome relief. But the fact that the Social Security scam is now off the top 10 list is also important. We're going to show the top 10 scams that were reported in 2022 to the Consumer Assistance Program. And as you look at this pie chart, you'll see scams that you've previously heard of and some that you might be seeing for the first time. Charity, what really jumps out at you, to you in this big picture?
When I look at this chart, the first thing that I see are a lot of imposter scams. Imposter scams are those scams where someone's trying to be someone they're not, whether it be
Mm.
a pastor, a law enforcement official, a business person who you work with, a family member. And those imposter scams are very common because they're effective. when you have duped someone into thinking you're someone they trust, they're going to be more likely to give you money. And so the imposter scams are just very effective, unfortunately.
Right. So how do people just double check that the imposter scams, like you want to make sure not your family, call them back, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, in some cases, it involves making a plan in advance, to say to, especially I think with the grandparent scam, someone you're close to, but maybe you don't speak to every day, to say to your loved one, I'm never going to call you from some foreign country in crisis, and say, don't call mom,
Yeah.
call mom.
Yeah.
So that's the other piece of advice, you make the plan, but also don't hesitate to call your nephew on the phone number or whoever it is they say they are on the phone number you have for them, or call another parent or another loved one who knows that person, and just to verify the legitimacy of the call.
Right. So uh, we've talked about that. The number four, that is we have these charts. Number one is, of course, the family emergency imposter. And then number four is also an imposter scam. What can you tell us about this one?
Um, the family emergency scam is the one that I just described. I think number four might be law enforcement.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the U.S. Marshal or U.S.
Yeah,
Customs or Border Protection is calling and and threatening legal action, actually,
that's right.
right?
And of course, this is just what I was saying when your emotional response is spiked. I mean, how scary to say, the sheriff is going to come and arrest you or whatever. Um, but keep in mind that if you're getting arrested, they kind of want to spring it on you. They're not going to like give you advance warning. So I think right away you need to, have awareness about the likelihood that this is legitimate. And the other thing is, they're never going to ask for your money in advance. So again, this is one where you can, phone a friend. Always feel you can call the consumer assistance program to get support and information in that kind of imposter scam as well.
Okay. Yeah, take a breath.
Yeah.
The number three scam involves games of chance and lotteries and sweepstakes. You've won something. Explain that a little bit more.
So the sweepstakes and lottery is that the emotion they're preying on there is the excitement, like, yay, I won the sweepstakes. Well, who wouldn't be excited? But what they're going to try to do is get you to somehow pay some fee in advance to get your supposed winnings. You didn't win the sweepstakes. You didn't win the lottery. There, it's fake. If someone is asking you to put down money to get money, and these legitimate well, they'll use a legitimate name most likely, like we all know, Publishers Clearinghouse or Money Millions. These are legitimate names, but what a scammer is doing is getting your money. What the legitimate sweepstakes will do is they're going to arrive in person, or they're going to send you a FedEx in a more legitimate way, and they're certainly not going to make you pay money in advance.
Right, and I've even won things from Home Depot or Dick's. You've won this or that, but just don't go there. So we know that the computer is certainly a favorite tool for scammers to use. The number two scam is the computer tech support scam. What do we need to know about that?
Well, this one I think is it's so insidious because what a scammer and a tech support will do is, first of all, they're preying on a common sense of uneasiness around technology that many of us have. And they'll have, a pop up is a common way of doing it. It could be an email, text anyway, but let's say it's a pop up saying, you have a virus on your computer. Oh, hey, don't worry. And they'll use a legitimate company like Norton, and I can fix this problem for you if only you will allow me remote access into your computer. And once you allow them remote access into your computer, it's over. They can access your browsers, your histories, your accounts, your files, and you're helpless. And this is a very effective scam at getting a ton of money. So one of the
Mm.
things when we look at the top scams with loss, we call them, where there's actually a money loss, this scam is very effective at getting a lot of money, and it's just terrible, and I'm not surprised at all when I saw it at number two.
Right. So again, you pause. Do you check
Yes.
in with that company?
Yep.
Never click on things you're not sure about.
And I personally, I go to Best Buy when I have a computer problem. I don't even allow Best Buy remote access because I've given this little speech about the tech support scam so many times. I've scared myself into even using a legitimate company that I know is legitimate. So that's another option, is just take your computer and you can bring it to your local repair place to have them take a look at it in person.
Great. Well, we just have a minute or two left. So the number one scam involves unauthorized orders or package deliveries. Tell us about that.
Again, it's the concern, hey, I didn't order this package, or excitement, wow, I got a package, and they're going to get you to try to click on something, or, provide information to rectify a package you never ordered. And the next thing you know, you're giving them your credit card number or whatever, and there you have it. So always be wary of the unexpected, urgent, and giving up of money or information.
So I want to make sure that people know what they can do if they do get scammed. What should they do? How can they be in touch?
Well, the Consumer Assistance Program can be reached at 1-800-649-2424. You can also send an email to ago.cap@vermont.gov. They're there to help if you have any questions. If you're not sure if they're the right place, call them. They can send you to the right place if they're not the right place. They have experts there answering the phones and answering emails to help you.
And a final quick summary about how can we avoid scams?
Well, the best thing to do is don't even answer your phone if you're not familiar with the phone number. And of course, spread the word. When you know it's a scam, please tell CAP, because they can spread the word to others through social media or press releases. And it's just, we're helping to stop scams together and taking care of each other.
Okay, Attorney General Charity Clark, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about scams and helping us avoid them.
Thank you for having me.
And once again, thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.